off. Let's give you a look at futures, of course. You've been listening to Squawk Box the last few hours. No doubt about that. You know where we're headed right now, which is lower. Although, again, to put it in perspective, to levels perhaps that we saw last Wednesday. But let's start right there, Jim, in terms of the overall market and the bond market. And I know a lot of themes that you have to watch as well. You know, trying to understand what's going on today, why the yields have fallen to as low as 1.25, why the equity market is going along with it.
Slowing.
Yeah.
Slowing. No, I think there's no slow in the United States.
Right.
But worldwide, I'm increasingly worried. David, Delta taking the world by storm. I think when I was up last night in the middle of the night, when the Olympics, when the government said no spectators, the market took a hit like you wouldn't believe. And that's Delta Force, because people recognize that this thing's coming. And I think it's going to be the dominant strain in the United States soon. And we have whole states that are anti-vax.
We have a lot of vaccine resistance in the country, perhaps more than we'd anticipated when President Biden set out the 70% vaccinated goal by July 4th. Many people thought, in fact, that would be easily reached.
Right. Now we're going to have to pay people.
It was not quite reached. And so that's a concern. But at the same time, Jim, I mean, you watch even the UK, where I know people are watching the numbers move up. And again, this goes to your point that there perhaps will not be the vast reopening and or a slowing of the overall economy, not necessarily here, but in other places in the world. Hospitalization's not up in the UK.
No. But when you listen,
up sharply.
When you listen to our own Eunice Yu, who is amazing.
Yes.
It is right. She's not wearing a mask out of some sort of safety, mock safety. She's wearing a mask. She doesn't want to get it. All right. I think China, they have to get right now BNTX. They have to make them. They really have to. The Chinese vaccine's not working.
All right, that's your point, right? In China,
and China's slow. China's look. You look at copper, which is a great proxy for China, not just electric batteries.
Yep.
It stopped rallying.
Right.
Weeks ago.
Okay, so the concern here is that there's overall slowing in the economy as a result of the spread of the Delta variant, which is potentially going to
rage here,
lead to increased caseloads and not necessarily lockdowns, but people.
But you.
Well, that's the thing. Like, what are we playing for? I know I don't want to get deep into the whole COVID conversation again because there's so many other things to talk about, Jim. But what are we playing for here? Isn't that to keep people out of hospitals?
Therapeutic.
Right. We will. So the antiviral.
Right. And because we don't have that, people are still worried that there's going to be hospitalizations and the numbers are going to go up.
Right.
And that the New Jersey having no deaths the other day is a sign that that state is pro-vax. But the anti-vax states, which, of course, are very much in sync with who voted for President Trump, are at risk. And more importantly,
we're full speed ahead in the United States.
Yes, but I'm saying, look, I think
nobody's.
But I think people are worried.
We're staying open.
People are worried. Is the NFL? Are those stadiums going to be full? How about the SEC? The SEC,
Southeastern Conference.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
They're both. Well, the SEC is actually well run because you got university. Those colleges are excellent. But aren't you worried if you're going to one of those colleges or those football games? I mean, it's the kind of thing people are thinking.
They're thinking about it. All right.
But they're really thinking about a speculation, David.
Yeah.
They're thinking about we haven't adjusted the hybrid work. I mean, yes, Ketchum doesn't have enough. What hybrid? Rich people want to Ketchum. Obviously, there's not enough people. We're worried about President Xi. President Xi's new tone.
China is definitely got to be a key thing. I mean, you mentioned it in terms of the potential of their economy slowing because of the spread of the Delta variant. But as well, we talked a lot during the course of this week, of course, about the changes that they made, their cybersecurity laws that made changes for Didi's business model immediately after the company went public, and what it all is going to mean overall in terms of just the ratcheting up of tensions between our country and
David, you've been saying
China.
over and over again, the billionaires are in trouble in China.
Well, he's an autocrat, and he wants to make sure everybody knows who's in full control.
Communist autocrat, yes. And the hegemony had been lost. I think Bitcoin is China.
You do?
Yes.
You mean the fall in Bitcoin?
The fall in Bitcoin, because the return of the different cards that you need in order to mine Ethereum is rather extraordinary. That's behind the big decline in NVIDIA. It shouldn't be. It's a $400 million business of just they would throw away the GPUs for Ethereum because they're not good enough for gaming. But you're seeing NVIDIA go down, and a lot of that is the recognition that Ethereum mining in China is slowing. All right.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.